Have you ever heard the saying, "Not all treasure is silver and gold"? Well, sometimes it's not buried in the dirt either. Sometimes it's hidden behind tons of cold, hard steel. We often imagine lost treasures as pirate chests buried on deserted islands, marked with a skull and crossbones on a weathered map. But some of the greatest lost fortunes in history weren't lost at sea. They vanished from the most secure places on Earth, bank vaults, and the story of how they disappeared is far stranger than any pirate tale. Our story begins in the tumultuous years following the American Civil War. The nation was fractured, and trust was a currency scarcer than gold. In this era of chaos, banks took extreme measures to protect their assets. It wasn't uncommon for entire vaults, massive, steel-clad rooms filled with gold, bonds, and sensitive documents to be loaded onto reinforced railway cars and moved between states under the cover of darkness. They were trying to stay one step ahead of looters, rival factions, and economic collapse. Imagine these steel behemoths, weighing several tons, rolling along the newly laid tracks of a nation trying to heal itself. But chaos is the enemy of order. In the smoke and fire of conflict, records were destroyed. Critical paperwork detailing these vault shipments was often burned, either accidentally or intentionally. Logbooks went missing, and shipments arrived at their destinations unlogged, or worse, never arrived at all. In the confusion, entire vaults simply vanished. They were swallowed by the fog of war, leaving behind a trail of unanswered questions and whispers of immense fortunes lost to time. It's a chilling thought. A room designed to be impenetrable, lost as if it never existed. For decades, these stories were just that, stories. Legends whispered by treasure hunters and historians. But then, in 1902, something happened that turned legend into a tangible mystery. A work crew was doing renovations deep beneath an old bank building in Richmond, Virginia, a city that had seen its share of wartime secrets. As they cleared away rubble in a forgotten sub-basement, their shovels hit something solid. It wasn't rock, it was steel. They had discovered a sealed vault, one that wasn't on any of the building's blueprints. The excitement must have been electric. The crew, with the help of bank officials, worked 4 days to crack the code of the forgotten lock. What treasures lay inside? Gold from a bygone era? Lost Confederate assets? When the massive door finally groaned open, the air inside was stale, thick with the scent of dust and decay. But the vast chamber was almost completely empty. There were no stacks of gold bars, no chests of silver coins. All they found scattered on the floor were a few brittle Confederate documents and a single, rusted iron key. A key to what? No one knew. The vault was a ghost, a hollow shell that only deepened the mystery. Where had its contents gone? And what lock did this solitary key open? This discovery sent a ripple through the community of historians and archivists. They began to comb through records, looking for any mention of these phantom vaults. What they found was both fascinating and frustrating. In archives from Georgia to Pennsylvania, they unearthed fragmented reports from the late 1860s, brief, hurried memos about missing vault shipments. These reports would describe a vault, its supposed contents, its last known location, and then nothing. The trail would just go cold. It was as if someone had systematically erased the records, scrubbing the history clean. One archivist, poring over digital scans of these fragile documents, noted something eerie. The missing vault report stopped so suddenly. He said, "It's not a gradual petering out of information. It's an abrupt halt. It is as if someone with a great deal of power went through and made sure the trail could never be followed." This suggests it wasn't just chaos and poor record-keeping. It points to a deliberate cover. Someone wanted these vaults to stay lost. But why? What were they protecting? Or, more tantalizingly, what were they hiding? Let's dive deeper into the theories. The most popular one, of course, involves the legendary lost Confederate treasury. After the fall of Richmond in 1865, the Confederate government fled with its remaining assets. History tells us much of it was paid out to soldiers or captured by Union forces. But legends persist of a secret stash, a vast fortune of gold and silver that was hidden away to fund a potential second rebellion, a lost cause war chest. Could these missing vaults have been the transport for this legendary treasure? Were they moved to secret locations, their contents hidden, and the vaults themselves left as empty decoys, like the one found in 1900? The rusted key found in that empty vault becomes a powerful symbol in this theory. Perhaps it was a key to a secondary location, a final resting place for the treasure. The documents, too, might hold a cipher or a clue, a breadcrumb trail left for those who knew how to read it. It's a romantic and compelling idea, a secret history hidden just beneath the surface of the official narrative. Imagine Confederate loyalists working in secret, orchestrating one of the greatest heists of all time, not by breaking into a vault, but by making the vault itself disappear. But there's another, darker theory. What if the vaults didn't contain gold at all? In times of war, information is as valuable as any precious metal. These vaults could have been filled with sensitive documents, spy networks, lists of sympathizers in the North, plans for sabotage, or even blackmail material on powerful figures. If such information had come to light during the fragile Reconstruction era, it could have reignited the conflict and torn the nation apart all over again. In this scenario, losing the vaults might have been an act of desperate patriotism, or of calculated self. Perhaps individuals on both sides of the conflict, realizing the danger these documents posed, conspired to make them vanish forever. The missing reports, the sudden dead ends in the archives, it all points to a coordinated effort to bury the truth. The empty vault in Richmond might have been the last stop, where the incriminating papers were finally destroyed, leaving only a few innocuous documents and a useless key behind as a final, silent misdirection. The treasure wasn't the contents of the vault. The prize was making sure those contents were never found. Let's consider the sheer logistics of this. Hiding a multi-ton steel vault is no easy feat. You can't just bury it in a field. Theories range from sinking them in remote lakes or rivers to sealing them inside abandoned mines or collapsing tunnels. The expanding railway network of the late 19th century provided the perfect cover. A specialized rail car carrying a vault could be diverted to an unused spur, its cargo offloaded in secret, and the car returned to circulation with no one the wiser. The official record would show the car as empty or under repair, another piece of the puzzle deliberately obscured. Treasure hunters today have used ground-penetrating radar, magnetometers, and old, hand-drawn maps to search for these steel ghosts. There are stories of divers exploring the depths of lakes along old railroad lines and urban explorers delving into forgotten subway tunnels under major cities, all looking for the telltale sign of a massive man-made steel object where it shouldn't be. So far, no one has claimed to have found one of the truly lost vaults. The secret, it seems, was well. So we're left with a mystery wrapped in steel and shrouded in the fog of war. Were these vaults filled with a rebel government's last hope? A treasure of gold and silver meant to fund a new war? Or did they hold a more dangerous cargo, secrets and lies so explosive that former enemies had to work together to ensure they were never revealed? The empty vault in Richmond, with its rusted key, offers no easy answers. It just sits at the heart of the mystery, a silent testament to a fortune, or a truth that was stolen from history itself. What do you think happened to these phantom vaults? Was it a grand conspiracy to hide Confederate gold, or a desperate act to bury dangerous secrets? The truth, like the vaults themselves, remains locked away, waiting for someone to find the right key. Thank you so much for joining me on this journey into one of America's most fascinating unsolved mysteries. If you enjoyed this exploration, please hit that like button, and don't forget to subscribe for more deep dives into the hidden corners of history. We'd love to hear your theories in the comments below. Until next time, keep questioning.